Growing up, Good Fridays were always an interesting time, at least for the hours from 12 to 3, because my mother had one task for my brother and that was to keep us quiet, to take us away from our toys, from playing, from getting on each other's nerves, which happened every now and then, and to put us on the couch, opposite ends, and to have us enter into silence together. If she was lucky enough, it lasted for about 10 minutes before one of us was making the other one laugh. I was never the culprit. Or the other just kind of getting to the edge of the couch and throwing the pillow to me. And then eventually my mom said, okay, well, you have enough of the silence. And then eventually she would take us to church for the Good Friday services. But I was reflecting on that this morning. In fact, I had shared that story with a couple of people a couple of days ago. I couldn't help but think that that was a metaphor for me of a universal resistance to silence, to quiet. There's something about this day, especially the hours from 12 to 3, that really highlights that call from our God to enter into the quiet of our hearts, where no word is to be uttered, but just a mere deafening silence. And yet, time and time again, whether we're little kids or mature adults, we sometimes get to the edge of our seats. We easily get distracted, and we resist. And I think part of it is because when all falls silent, when all falls quiet, the thing that we can listen closely enough is the pulse, the beating of a heart that aches, the heart of Christ, which we celebrate in a very particular way this day. And I think that's really why we resist silence. We don't want to pay attention to the beating of an aching heart. A heart that was aching with passion for his entire life, his entire ministry and mission. A passionate life that led him to the moment of the passion that we celebrate this day, that we hear about in John's Gospel. The passionate, aching heart of Christ. That heart that led him first into the desert to prepare for this unique and particular ministry to the world, for the sake of the other. The passionate, aching heart of Christ that led him to his baptism, that led him to Mount Tabor to be transfigured, that led him to call his first followers into communion, into friendship. The passionate, aching heart that led him to the woman at the well, to the man born blind, to Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. A passionate, aching heart that led him to the leper, to embrace the leper, to stoop to the eyesight of the woman caught in adultery. The passionate, aching heart that led him to his death, because everyone resisted his heart that was aching. When we listen to this beating pulse of the aching heart, we can easily get in touch with our own fears. Because if we start to listen, we then have to listen to our own pulse, trying to mimic it. That would then lead us into the ministry of Jesus himself, to go to the lepers, to go to those who are blind, to those who are deaf, to those who need to hear good news in the margins of our society. And so we resist, just as those people in the gospel resisted, as we heard time and time again in this particular gospel, out of fear. Jesus' entire life, ministry, and mission was one of passion, of an aching heart, a continuous act of love, a continuous act of crucified love, an act that we, as his followers, are called to embrace, that we hear in a very particular way at this moment, in the silence of our own aching hearts. Today, we venerate that crucified love. We'll do it in just a moment. But every day, as followers, we are called to embrace it and proclaim it to one another, to ourselves, and to the world. Let us all take a moment together in the quiet of our hearts to enter into that silence and hear once again the beating